Evening, my dear students. This is your teacher, Abdul Rahman. In the previous lecture, you have studied or you have seen about the introduction of second law of thermodynamics and limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. In this lecture of the second law of thermodynamics, we will study about the thermal reservoirs, heat engines, and Kelvin-Planck statement. So first of all, we will see about thermal reservoir. So what is thermal reservoir? Thermal reservoir is a hypothetical body with a relatively large thermal energy, or supply or absorb infinite amounts of heat without any change of its temperature. Example, oceans, atmosphere, etc. A reservoir that supplies energy in the form of heat is called source, and a reservoir that absorbs energy in the form of heat is called sinks. Means a thermal reservoir is a hypothetical source of energy. Hypothetical source of energy means, like we can see, this is a reservoir, and this reservoir has infinite capacity of heat such that it supplies heat or it absorbs heat. It supplies heats or it absorbs heat, makes no effect on the temperature of this reservoir. Suppose the temperature of this reservoir is T. So if this reservoir supplied heat to any device, or this reservoir absorbs some amount of heat, the temperature will remain T. It will not change. And the capacity of this reservoir is infinite. Infinite capacity of heat. Capacity of heat. We can understand it, thermal reservoir, by an example like ocean. Suppose if you put out a bucket of water from an ocean, does it make any change on the water of ocean, on the quantity of water of ocean? No, obviously not. It doesn't make any change. Or if you put one bucket of water to the ocean, does it make any change in the quantity of water? No, it doesn't make any change. Also, it doesn't make any change in the temperature of the ocean. So ocean can be treated as a reservoir of infinite capacity. Similarly, here it is a thermal reservoir, means it is a reservoir of infinite capacity of heat such that it supply heat or absorb heats, making no effects on its heat capacity and no effects on the temperature of the reservoir. It remains same T. So now we'll see what is source. A reservoir that supplies energy in the form of heat means it is a thermal reservoir. Suppose it is a thermal reservoir. It is a thermal reservoir. Thermal reservoir having temperature T. If it supplies heat, if it supplies heat to any device, then this is called source. A reservoir that supplies energy in the form of heat is called source. And suppose any thermal reservoir having temperature T, if it absorbs heat or heat is given to this thermal reservoir, heat absorbs by any device, that this thermal reservoir will be treated as sink. It will be treated as sink. Means there are two types of thermal reservoir. One is source and another is sink. The reservoir which supplies heat is called source and the reservoir which absorbs heat is called sink. Now we will move further and we will see heat engine. So obviously a question comes in mind, what is heat engine? So we already know that work is something which you can rather easily convert into heat, but on the other hand you cannot directly convert heat into work. You cannot directly convert it. It requires certain complicated devices which we will refer as heat engines. So the heat engines are devices which can convert heat into work. Means heat engines are devices which can convert heat into work. Means if we put a device here such that this, if heat is given to this device and it converts it into work, then this device is called heat engine. So you do not really need a heat engine to convert work into heat, but if to generate work from heat, you need a device known as heat engines. So the heat engines basically receives heat from a high temperature source, which could be solar energy or oil furnace or so on. And then heat engines will convert part of this heat into work and then reject remaining waste heat to low temperature sink, which could be atmosphere or lake or condenser and so on. So heat engines always work in a cyclic process. So heat engine will require a certain amount of heat supply of heat input through a certain source or thermal energy reservoir like furnace or solar energy and so on. And then heat engines would do is convert part of this heat into work, and then remaining amount of heat, which is waste energy or waste heat, is redirected to low temperature sink. And heat energy engines obviously operate in a cycle. So we as a synopsis, we can see work can be rather easily converted to heat. The reverse process is not easy and requires special devices, and the devices are called heat engine. Heat engine receives heat energy from high temperature source and reject the remaining waste heat to low temperature sink, and it's always operate in a cycle. Now you immediately notice that there is a certain component of waste energy that is involved here. Why do you have to waste energy? Why cannot you convert whatever energy is coming into the work? It does not violate the first law of thermodynamics, but it will violate the second law of thermodynamics, which we will see shortly. You cannot convert whatever energy is input to work output, and we shall very soon see it. It is not because of frictional limitation or real effects or its irreversibilities, but it is a basic restriction even for an ideal process, that when an ideal heat engine should be rejecting certain amount of heat to surroundings or to a low temperature sink. Now let us understand the requirement of heat engine by an example. So here it is a there is a bucket of water, and we supply certain amount of work. Let us say water through a paddle wheel work. It is a paddle wheel work. So you rotate the paddle wheel, and therefore it does work on water. It does work on water. And so water gets heated. And this heat eventually, if it is not an insulated furnace, will transform to sink. So on the other hand, if you were to transfer heat into a stationary paddle, if you transfer heat into a stationary paddle, let us say the paddle is stationary. This paddle is stationary. And if you were to heat up this, or if you transfer heat in this water, you know that that is not going to generate any kind of work. So you can immediately see that work can be easily converted into heat. But to convert heat into work, it is something that does not happen naturally, and which is reason why you need a heat engine, which basically does this. It converts heat input partially into work and rejects some amount of heat to the ambient. Now we will see schematic of heat engine. Here heat engine is shown. So heat engine is something which operates between the high temperature source and which is a thermal energy reservoir, TER in short, and the other end of heat engine is a low temperature sink. It is also thermal energy reservoir. And so between the source, it is source and it is the sink. Between the source and the sink, the heat engine generates a work output, and it rejects the so there is a heat transfer which is denoted by Q in, from the high temperature source to the heat engine. The net heat engine converts part of this Q in into work out and rejects the remaining heat, which is Q out to a low temperature sink. So the heat engine is a device which can convert a certain amount of heat into work and rejects some amount to the low temperature sink. So this is how you would normally denote or illustrate a heat engine. And what can be within this heat engine could be, let us say, an example of heat engine. So this is the work output. Now we will find out the thermal efficiency of a heat engine. So energy in thermal efficiency, Q out. Here Q out is the energy wasted during the process. Only a part of heat input can be converted to useful work output. Only a part of Q in can be converted into useful amount of work. So for heat engine, thermal efficiency is defined as net work output for a heat engine. Thermal efficiency is defined as net work output by total work input. So here, what is net work output? Net work output. From this diagram, we can see that Q in. So the system is receiving Q in and doing a work. W out, it is done by the system, and some amount of heat is rejecting to the sink. So for finding out the net work output, we can apply the first law of thermodynamics. We can apply first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. So according to first law of thermodynamics, we know that del Q is del U plus del W. So here, what is total energy interaction, heat interaction? Here Q in is coming to the system and Q out is absorbing by the sink. So we can write it Q in minus Q out is equal to del U, and here del U will be 0 because it is a closed system and it is working in a cycle. If we will put a arrow here, that means heat engine is working in a cyclic process. So, and total work interaction is only W out. It is done by the system, so it will be taken as positive, W out. Q in is taken as positive because heat is giving to the system, and Q out is taken as negative because it releasing the heat. So we can see that W out is equal to Q in minus Q out. So thermal efficiency is net work output, it is Q in minus Q out by total heat input. So you can see that from here total heat input is Q in. So it comes 1 minus Q out by Q in. And we know that heat is Q is directly proportional to temperature. So in case of temperature, if the source temperature is T1 and the sink's temperature is T2, then Q out is T2 and Q in is T1. So it can be written as 1 minus T2 by T1. So it can be written here, and thermal efficiency is equal to 1 minus Q out by Q in, and we know that Q is directly proportional to T. So here T1 is for high source and T2 is for sink. So Q out is receiving the sink. So here we can write T2, and T1 is at a source temperature. So Q in rejecting Q in. So we can write T1 minus T2 by T1. So this is the formula for efficiency of a heat engine. Now we will see. We have found out the efficiency formula of heat engine. Now we will see, with the reference of this heat engine, we will see the Kelvin-Planck statement of second law of thermodynamics. So what is Kelvin-Planck statement of thermodynamics? So this is basically Kelvin-Planck statement state that you cannot convert the entire amount of heat into work output. So in a statement, the Kelvin-Planck states that the statements of the second law thermodynamics, it is impossible for any device which receives heat from a single reservoir and do equivalent amount of work. Means second law of thermodynamics states that for a heat engine, if it is a heat engine working in a cyclic process, it is a thermal energy reservoir at temperature T1. So for this heat engine, it is impossible that it receives heat Q1 from this thermal reservoir and do equivalent amount of work. Do a work that is W, and W is equal to Q1. It is impossible according to Kelvin-Planck statement. That means it cannot interact with only one thermal reservoir. It have to release some energy, or this heat engine has to interact with second thermal reservoir. Means this thermal reservoirs, it is source and it is heat engine. So it has to reject in sink some heat and do equivalent amount of work. So if this is possible, if this will happen, then what happen? Thermal efficiency will become 100%. Because what is the net work output? Output by input. And W is the output. and input is Q1, and whole, according to first law of thermodynamics, whole energy will be transferred into work. So it is equal, so it become 1. So the efficiency become 100%. So Kelvin Planck statement puts a barrier on this 100% efficiency, and it states that it is impossible for any heat engine that its efficiency is 100%. Its efficiency cannot be 100%, or we can say that is, it must always interact with a second reservoir. It cannot interact with a single reservoir and do equivalent amount of work. It have to always interact with a sink also, or this heat engine always releases some energy or waste energy to the sink. So we see that is a heat engine must exchange with a low temperature sink as well as high temperature source to keep operating. No heat engine can have thermal efficiency of 100%. Now we will see one thing more, that this impossibility of having 100% efficient engine is not due to friction or other dissipative effects. It is a limitation that applies to both idealized and actual heat engine. Means in ideal case also it could not have 100% efficiency, because it is not due to the friction or dissipative effects. It is a limitation. It is a limitation that applies to both idealized and actual heat engine. So maximum value of thermal reservoir depends on reservoir temperature. You can see that thermal efficiency is 1 minus T2 by T1. So it depends, thermal efficiency will depend on this T2 and T1, source and sink temperature. So from Kelvin Planck statement, we understand that it is impossible for a device that operates on a cycle, receives heat from a single reservoir and produce a net amount of work. And this is also a second law puts a ends the restrictions of the first law, that is quality of energy. It tells us that certain amount of heat can be converted into work. Not all amount of heat can be converted into work. So Kelvin Planck's statements also tells us about the quality of heat. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you very much. Hope you have understand it. Please subscribe my channel, like and comment it. Thank you.